Hello everyone, welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And the Western Province have just punished a very young Lions side to get off to the perfect start in the Currie Cup. 48 points to 36. The result we expected, probably not the scoreline or the performances we probably thought we would see from either side, but a very encapsulating game in just terms of lots of high scoring, lots of opportunities, and quite a few takeaways. It was an absolute try-fest. 12 tries in the game, 7 for the Western Province, 5 for the Lions. It kind of read like a warm-up game, very sloppy, 3 yellow cards throughout the entire game. As I said, 12 tries, so defense will need a lot of work from both sides. But for a bit of Saturday evening rugby, it was very viewable. And I think that the Western Province will be very happy with the result. They'll be happy with a lot of the performances. But equally, I think the Lions will look at that and say, you know what, we were competitive. And if it weren't for a couple of poor decisions and some pretty fixable errors, we could have been, in that game. There could have been a lot more competitive. So I think both coaching staff will probably actually be quite happy with that result. Because if you're going to lose, and they did lose, and they lost by 12 points, so I wouldn't say it was that close. But to have scored 36 points, it's difficult to go into a change room and lambaste a team who scored 36 points. They've just conceded 48, Equally, the Western Province, you're not going to shout at them for scoring 7 tries, but the coach staff will be a little bit worried about having conceded 5 tries. Both teams dominating certain aspects of the game. Open play with ball in hand, the Stormers, Western Province looked very dangerous. ANGELO DAVIDS with a hat-trick, which is too good. They've spread out the ball out wide, and he's got so much pace in him and such good skills that, he's a very, very difficult customer to defend against. For the Lions, it was set piece. They just used that line out and that rolling maul of theirs to massive advantage, and it was a very strong weapon for the Lions. So a good game to start the Currie Cup. Maybe we'd like to probably see being a little bit closer, a little bit less free sort of scoring. We'd like to see defenses offering a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it was entertaining. It was always something happening. So you couldn't have asked for much more, considering that it was very much a sort of it felt like a preseason game in terms of lots of tries being scored, lots of basic errors. I think there were 12 or 13 handling errors across the game, far too many penalties. And that was the issue with the Lions. They could not take the ball at the restart. I think it was 3 restarts where they allowed the Western Province back into them, and Western Province punished them on 2 occasions, conceding far too many penalties. So the Western Province were the much better side, and all they did is they waited for the Lions to make mistakes, and they would capitalize, and they would score tries, and they'll take points, and they'll just build that scoreboard pressure. Once they had the lead, the Lions never really threatened it. They kept sort of scoring tries and kept sort of putting themselves in a position where they might be able to be to threaten the scoreboard, but never really managed to cause Western Province enough worry. If you look at some of the stats, this is according to Rugby Pass possession, 65% for the Western Province, 35% for the Lions, scoring 7 tries to 5. They beat 25 defenders, and Lions beating 9. So that's where the big issue that the Lions will worry about. Their defense just not being good enough. 6 clean breaks, 2. I thought Tristan Lates had a very good game on attack. He created a lot of space and a lot of opportunities. Leon Zas with that sort of extra bit of pace at outside centre. Was very good. And Hatiwa Daimani in that sort of free-flowing role where he can kind of occupy whichever space he wants to. He was in the centres. He found himself out wide quite a lot. And he was basically allowed free range to do whatever he wanted. So it should be interesting to sort of see how he evolves in that role, because the Stormers think that they've got quite a special player in Daimani. And at the Lions, we saw aspects of that, but we didn't really see the finished article at any stage. But 14 turnovers conceded by the Western Province, 9 from the Lions. We're looking at defence. Lions missing 21 tackles. Now, you don't win a game missing 21 tackles. They made 147. Western Province made 71 tackles and missed 16. So defensively, percentage-wise, Western Province were actually worse. But both teams, will want to try and bring that missed tackles count a little bit down. In terms of at the breakdown, pretty even there from I think the Western Province were much better at the breakdown. I thought the Lions didn't protect their ball particularly well, but more-wise, they were very, very good. Lineouts, I thought the Lions lineout was pretty impressive, actually. I think Donicio as well as Lunga Ngube both look like very, very competent lineout operators. They caused the Western Province lineout out a few issues throughout the match. Scrums-wise, it was pretty 50-50. It often depended on who had the put-in, but the Lions had a couple of very important scrums, and any scrum with Asanate and Clavicania anchoring it, it's going to be tough to move, given the size that he is. But the Western Province also had their scrums where they were pretty solid. Discipline-wide, 15 penalties conceded by the Lions compared to 8, and that's where the game is won and lost. You can't concede what is basically double the amount of penalties as your opposition and hope to really compete. Impressive performance for both teams. I thought that RJ Smith was physical, but once again getting a yellow card. Garland was similar, a yellow card that was silly. I thought Tim Sweel looked very composed and kicked very well. I thought both fly halves actually looked very good. I thought Morgan Isaacs looked like quite an exciting player. He has a massive boot on him. He kicked very, very well for posts, which is good to see. You know, and I think that Lions fly halves always been a big issue because realistically, you know, Jordan Hendrickson should be playing in the side age-wise, but because there's no fly half depth, he's suddenly become the number one choice at URC level. So, Kieran Horn I thought was very good for the Lions. Forwards-wise, I was pretty impressed with Dionisio on debut. Asnath Tlabakanya put in a big shift for the Western Province. As I said, I think Diamani, Leon Lanzas, Angelo Davids, Tristan Lays were very exciting. Didn't see too much of Cornel Smith. He looked reasonable when he had the opportunity. Tim Sweel was very tidy. I thought that in the pack, Diamani was very good. I thought Miller was quite busy. So it was a decent game overall. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I think much tougher tests lie in wait for the Western Province, who are away at the Bulls next week, Wednesday. And the Lions, on the other hand, will welcome the Pumas. And that should be an interesting game. I think the Pumas are a very good outfit, and they will continue to test this young Lions side. But they're out there. They've got their first Currie Cup under the game under their belt, and hopefully can only progress from here. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you guys very soon.